Good evening. This time it should be the right way. I think there was a little bit of a problem with the balance of the phone. But we are here and we are going to be talking about the stars of this week and what's coming up. So you probably have felt one way or the other the full moon coming up that was in with the lunar eclipse, so even more multiplied. A full moon is already something, but when there is a lunar eclipse, it multiplies, it makes it multiply. So some stuff would have happened for sure, and you will have felt it in a good way or in a bad way, because we are, the sun is in Gemini, so it could have gone either way. Even though that full moon lunar eclipse was in Sagittarius, 16 degrees, it was definitely going to bring some things. Hopefully you were on the good side. So it happened, the strongest point was Saturday morning at 5:14 a.m. here in Australia, in Brisbane. But it's so strong, especially when it's an eclipse. You can be sure 3 or 4 days after that you still feel it, and there's still some leftovers coming from that. So so Jupiter and Mercury were dominating. So that is a good thing, because obviously it was the planet of communication. It was linked with the planet of good luck. Yes, it is in retrograde, Jupiter, but still, it's still expanding. It's still allowing you to express, to show maybe more your feelings, and to be able to express yourself better, and what you feel and who you are and what you do. And if that was the case, well, that is completely normal. I've spent the whole weekend actually doing that, or people around me doing that. So you can really see how it works, when people start to open up and talk and expand. And that being said, by the way, I really, really, really want to thank everyone who has been helping me this weekend to find all the products that I needed for my friend. And I've met some amazing people. It took us on a journey from one place, from some products to another place, and I just want to thank everyone, because this community is amazing. I mean, the way we are shifting, the way we are changing, and the people that are open, and the products that exist to heal, absolutely phenomenal. Things that I've learned this weekend about how we can heal our bodies and the machines, and what exists now, and how we can see any kind of currency deficiency or things like that can exist in the body, and how to even prevent being sick, and things like that. I was gone on a health journey with my friend this weekend, and it was absolutely fascinating. I really enjoyed all of it, and I want to thank everyone who has been giving me some advices, and it was just thank you. I got some products I never even thought I could even find them or even have them. They were given for free and to us, and it was absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for that. That is just perfect. I even had someone coming to my door and even bringing a present, some presents, which were absolutely amazing, by the way. Thank you as well so much. I'm so very, very grateful. Thank you so much. So yes, Jupiter and Mercury dominating, but Mercury, the fact that it would be good news was because it was sextile the planet of surprises, Uranus, which is the one that can bring good news or things that can come up. And for us, it was sure to find all those products, and knew that there was, really good chances to be able to cure my friend with everything that we have found, and the way it is going. So that was really, really good. I actually even had time to catch up with one of my most beautiful friends. I know she's watching, and thank you, because yes, thank you for being there all the time. I really appreciate it. So, but because we also had some opposition, that is the bad side of that full moon. Yes, hello. So there were also some oppositions, and that was the aspect, the downfall of it. Gemini, double. So you have to make sure that you don't rush into any conclusion, okay? Because there are some things that are being blurred, and that is Mars that was square Neptune. So things sometimes where you have to check things, you have to make sure that you know exactly the facts, So or even of a situation, you know, even like, you know, maybe someone is going to offer you a solution, but you still want to check, do your research to make sure that you know what is happening and what you are talking about, because there is Mars that is square Neptune, and Mars is the planet of action and Neptune is the planet of blurring things. So you just want to make sure of everything. So for example, you know, when we got some products, we ended up going online and check everything up, you know, to make sure that it is okay, or that we don't put two things together that could be opposite, you know, to each other and stuff like that. So it's important to do your research. Very, very good for creativity, to having new ideas, actually to have new ideas that can be linked with income. So it's not time to launch, but if you've had, or if you will have in the next 2 or 3 days, or if you've had since Saturday, some new ideas, some new ways of doing things, write them down, because they could be linked with some really, really great ideas to make a lot of money, but just don't launch them now. We are going to be in Mercury Retrograde, and you know that's the shadow. We're already going to feel it next week, so no point starting anything there. 3 retrogrades with Jupiter and Venus. You don't start anything new for the moment, unless you've already started with the person, you've already talked with the person, or you've already worked, you know, or followed the person. That is okay, but you definitely wouldn't want to start anything new. So you don't sign something that is new, or with someone that you don't know. Don't do that. It wouldn't work. Now, we are going to have a little bit of few days to calm down, which is great. It will make things a little bit nicer and smoother. So in the next few days. But today you still had that aspect Sun square and Mars. So again, maybe you had to explain things, or maybe you even had to justify certain things. If that came up, or if it was coming back tomorrow, know that it is because of the aspects coming up. So if anything happens, 6 on the other side, here on the 7th, depending where you are actually situated, because the US are in advance, in France, you know, so you have to follow. So maybe it's easier that I just say on the 7th in Australia. So wherever you are in the world, just make the time difference. But yeah, on the 7th, so Sun square Mars, so you might have felt it, or you might still feel a little bit of it tomorrow. But then again, you know, it was kind of to make sure that you will be seeing the truth, or that you will be explaining things, or that you will be really looking, you know, what was maybe, yeah, if you were in a contract, or in some ingredients, you know, and things like that. Just making sure that you check your data, that you check things, and that it is crystal clear. Now, in between, as I was saying, between the 7th and the 11th, we have some days where we are going to recover from that full moon lunar eclipse. So just to go back on that full moon lunar eclipse, dividing, obviously, the Gemini, both sides, but also the full moon itself was in Sagittarius, so showing you the road. So it will have been really obvious at one stage, saying, okay, I want this, I don't want that anymore, I'm burning that list that I don't want, I'm putting what I want and where I want to go in my office in the front of me every day. So if I've got a doubt at a certain point, I go back onto that list and I'm like, right, I know exactly where I want to go, what I want to do, what I want to achieve, how I want to serve, or whatever is what you want to do, or what you want to achieve, your goals, your legacy, what is important for you, so in the front of you. And that road taken with the Sagittarius, which is always going to be pushing the boundaries and finding the road. And yes, it is an unusual road. It's not going to the things that we have known so far. But as we can see, a lot of things that we have known so far are not really working. So it's more saying, right, it's time to make a change. So we are taking that road. And of course, from a Gemini, an air sign, taking us to that era of Aquarius, which is also an air sign. It all makes sense. So time to clean up before we get in all those retrogrades. So if you haven't had the time to clean up, please still do. Say everything that has been blocking you. I have the question, is it good to go back on things that are negative and blocking you? Well, yeah, I don't say to go back into the past and go over and over and over, because each time, you know, you reopen the wound or you go back there, and that's not what you want. But what you want is to be really objective, and that Mercury is really going to help you with Jupiter. Mercury is the planet of the mind and the thinking. And Jupiter is the planet of luck. And remember, we need to expand and to know what is good for us and not, because that's what all those retrogrades are all about. It's karmic. It's to know who we are, to expand, to have a look at the self and say, right, this time I really know who I am, I really know what I want to do, and then when it's going to be moving forward, and it will very, very fast, especially in 2021, you know exactly what you are doing and where you are going. So Jupiter will have helped you to have all those thoughts and really know who you are and what you want. So you need to do it. It's very, very important, because after that it's going to slow down, and there will be the last Mercury retrograde before. After that, you know, things start moving again in September, mid-September. Mercury retrograde won't last that long. Mercury retrograde stops, I think it's on the 12th of July. Yes, it is. It goes in on the 17th, 18th, depending on where you are, 18 for us, and it will go in retrograde in Cancer at 15 degrees, and on the 12th, July in Cancer 6. So it's all happening in Cancer. But yes, you really want to have done all that, because you want to get rid. It's almost like a full moon. It's like a washing machine. You want everything to come out, things that you don't want anymore. It's actually cleaning up to make sure you don't take it with you into that new cycle. So just clean up, you know. And yes, I've had that question non-stop. Yes, it can be getting rid of people. Absolutely. It can be saying, look, that does no longer serve me anymore. You know, I wish you well, because I've had a lot of people that have had problems lately with relationships. Of course, Venus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, it does affect the relationship. Look, if they are not meant to be there anymore, if they are dragging you down, yes, you need to let them go so you can keep on going, doing what you have to do. And yes, it can be quite emotional, but sometimes it's better like that. Maybe sometimes it's even better like that for both, you know, because negative energies can really drag you down. And that is the problem, is that people are made of energy. And if you are with someone that is always dragging you down, after a while, it can be extremely hard to be able to lift up. It can be extremely hard to go to that high level of consciousness, and so make sure that you are surrounded with the right people. It's extremely important. So yes, so let's go back to the stars. So you might have had yes, things come up this weekend and some great ideas, and that is great. The sun will be, yes, so we have those few days in between that are where we're going to be able to breathe from that full moon. And on the 11th, 12th, the sun will be square Neptune, so very, very good for creativity. So if you are doing anything to do with music, with art, all that is absolutely amazing. Writing a book, you know, thinking about creative things that you can add to a program, or you know, some products and all that. That is fantastic. If you had great ideas, write them down, and it can be linked with absolutely an amazing aspect in success. But do not sign anything to do with money. Do not sign, do not agree. Wrote down no money contract, no agreements, no nothing. You don't want to be doing that. It's the sun, yes, it's the self, but it's completely blurred with Neptune. So it's perfect for creativity, for spiritual work as well. So if you want to do a meditation, have some work on that day, down spiritual and all that, that's fine. But nothing down below linked with money and signature and then on earth, because that will just not be the right time to do that at all. So that is it. And we keep on going like that. And we do have on the 12th, 13th, we do have a transit that is going to be really, really good actually in Pisces, and that is going to be making things very, very romantic. So if I remember right, it's a Friday, and so I really strongly suggest that you go out with your loved ones, and if you have a partner, it's going to be extremely romantic. I wouldn't go with someone that you haven't known before. If you've known each other for a long time already, and you know, are friends, all these kind of things, that's fine. But I wouldn't go out with someone new. It would be better if you already had a relationship. It's better like that. But if you've known each other, that's okay, because I've also had that questions. If you've already known each other, you know, sometimes you've already had feelings, you know, both have already had feelings. It's just that, so that's okay. If you catch up like that, that's fine. I still will be thinking about committing on that night and on that weekend. We are still with Jupiter and Venus retrograde. So it's better to go out and commit with someone that you've already been out with. But if it is someone that you've already known, not someone new, but if it is with someone that you've already known, just enjoy, you know, enjoy your time. Do not commit. Wait for the 14th of September to say, yeah, okay, I'm committing, we're going out together. But that doesn't stop you from having a good time. And of course, with your loved ones, children and all that, you know, whoever, you know, it could be, as long as you love people, you know, love is universal, you know, it's not just a partner. You can love in multiple different ways, you know. It can even be going out with a really good friend and saying, right, I just really want to have a good time and talk and expand and talk about my feelings, you know, and things like that, because a friendship is gold. A good friendship can be really, really gold and recharge you a lot. So there's always someone that you can go and have a good time when the stars are like that. And on the 13th, it will be the same. There will be Mars conjunct with Pisces and Neptune, and it's going to be, again, very, very romantic. So, but again, definitely not a time to sign anything. So, look, I really want you to enjoy that time, because after that, on the 17th, 18th, and the week after, there will be Mercury retrograde, as I said, and that can make things complicated, hard to communicate, hard to express the self, hard to make things going forwards, because obviously everything goes backwards, or at least stops for a reason, right? So I would say this week is the last week to move forwards in that sense. So if you've got things to say, if you've got to open up, if you've got to be creative, and knowing that it goes towards the right way, it will be the time. After that, when we will be in Mercury retrograde, I would strongly suggest for those who can do it to actually take a break and to rest and take some holidays, because and I know there's the school holidays in between, because honestly, for retrogrades it's full on. That is the first thing. And also because after that, when we will have those stars joining again, there's going to be Pluto and Jupiter, so we're not done with the year, right? You can see all this manifestation and all these kind of things starting to build, and, you know, row, and people complaining and all these kind of things. It's starting in the back of that, and it's not done. So there will be some more problems, and even in September, when we are going to be moving forward. So the stars linked with the disease and what we have gone through, Jupiter and Pluto will meet again at the end of this month of June, and again in November. But already from September, the stars will move forward. Thank God Mars will be retrograde at that time, so that is the planet of action and violence as well, of strength and all that. So that will kind of temporize, I'm hoping, reactions or people. But then after that, in November, that's a different story. We will be in Scorpio. And from that point on, there will be no Mars retrograde. There will be no Venus retrograde. So it's going to be full speed, which obviously once those problems will be sorted, it's all going to be about building. It's all going to be about being very entrepreneur, and being positive and building all that. It's just that obviously, to make things better, some stuff have to give, right? So don't see it in a negative way. I mean, I see it in a positive way, where we had to get rid of some things or some abuse, you know, that was done somehow, that was not right or well aligned for humankind. So it's kind of that is breaking. I had some very interesting questions this weekend with all the people that I met, and that, you know, we were on that road and journey of health. I met some amazing people, very, very spiritual, of course, and they were all asking me, how long do you think all that's going to take? So everything is done. So the answer is 2023. So I wish I could tell you that everything is going to be sorted in 2021. So yeah, today I'm going a bit further, but I know you're all asking yourself that question, so I might as well talk about that today. 2021, yes, we are going to rebuild, and yes, we will be having Jupiter in the era of Aquarius, and yes, we are going to try to find the right balance. But then after that, the year after, in 2022, we will have Jupiter in Pisces. It will have shifted there, so that will be wanting to again make things nicer and smoother. But the problem is we will be into the Tiger, and in the Tiger again, you've got that duality. It actually equals Gemini, if you wanted to have the correlation between the Chinese star signs and the Western ones. It is the way it is. So there is those ups and downs. It's hard to stabilize that. There can be quite a bit of movement there. And it's only when we will be in 2023 with the cat, the Vietnamese say the cat, or the Chinese say the rabbit, that will want to unify, plus Jupiter this time that will be into Aries, wanting to finally start going straight to on one road and taking the wheel and saying, right, now that is the direction that really things would have been done, and then we will start going, and we will go after that with Jupiter in Taurus, which is where the planet Uranus is, with that famous cycle of 7 years. So it's going to be interesting times, and it's definitely a reset. So this year was the starting point. So whatever is happening is to make sure we are not going the same way, and that we are changing, obviously, because too many things weren't right, you know, between the way we were having some power that was done not necessarily for the good things, or the way we were looking after Mother Earth, and different things that needed to change. So you know, to have a reaction, you need to have an action. So the universe doesn't have anything else. I mean, those people were only able to do all that because of the aspects that were there with Pluto and Jupiter, and the same that we had in 1918 with the Spanish influenza. You need to have the universe helping to be able to do things like that. And the universe, I think, had enough, to be honest. It just wanted to reset and change the world and say, look, things need to change. They cannot keep on going like that, because you are destroying everything, and the people as well, with different chemicals or things that are not good. And I think everything needed to be changed. So that would have been created to have a reaction, which is obviously what we are going to find out in the next few months, and where the people want to go, and being more human, and looking after that planet, and being more helping each other and looking after each other, and being more understanding that we are part of it all, that it's about all of us together, that we can make a difference, and helping each other. So a lot of things are going to come like that, and I believe that it's going to be much, much better in the long run. We just have to go through it now, and then it will be much, much, much better, and much also in sync with the era that we are in, because that's why it's also lifting up. But to be able to be good, staying to that 5D, keep on doing the meditations that I've shared, and do that work, and make sure that you are going, or you know, like my friend Wendy, or other places like that, try to lift up and make sure that you stay above, that you don't get, you know, taken away in the negativity, and making sure that you are transforming the right way. And if you need help, you know exactly where I am. So that's it. Have an awesome week. We do have awesome stars. Look, I mean, we are finishing the week with an awesome weekend coming up, which is going to be very romantic. So take that time. Just take that time. Do some savings if you have to be able to go to that restaurant, or cook that nice meal at home, and, you know, light up the candles, and take that time for you and for your loved one. It's very, very important before we are in Mercury retrograde, because we will start feeling it from the end of the weekend onwards. It changes on the 17th, 18th. You will start feeling it 3 or 4 days before, because of the shadow. So enjoy that time, and then don't worry. We'll go through that retrograde step by step, and we will enjoy it, doing the right things, just to make sure that we are still making money while we are in retrograde if it's needed, but that we will also take the steps that are needed for ourselves. So that's it. Take care, and I shall see you very, very, very soon. Bye.